What's up, guys? I got the keys here back with another video. So, in the last video, we talked about what it means to be chosen, but today, it's going to be about the fact that nobody really knows what the fuck is going on. Okay. Um, and I chose this concept for a reason, and it's it's just honesty. Like, everybody thinks they know everything and that they have it all together, or at least you may think they do. Um, but that's not the truth, right? We're all going day by day, and we're all learning every step of the way, right? So, you know, I know a lot of you have probably felt like you're somehow behind other people, or um, how do I say it? You do feel like you're not doing enough, or you don't know as much as those people, or whatever. But I'm here to tell you that none of that matters, because as you start to change your mind about things and who you are internally, okay, um, your doing will naturally follow your being, okay? So whoever you are being will naturally follow, right? That doing is being is doing, okay? So when you are finally doing something, it's because you are finally being the person who does those things. Does that make sense? So it starts with being and then turns into doing. Okay. Um, and I chose this concept because in my journey, I've had experiences of, thinking that somebody else had it all together and they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly, how they're going to achieve that goal or whatever. But the truth is, nobody knows. Okay. Um, Nobody knew what their next step was. Even like majority of the videos you'll watch, people will tell you, I didn't expect to be here. I didn't expect to become this. I didn't expect this, you know, basically the way they perceived that it would happen, it happened in a totally opposite way. Um, so, this also goes back to the concept of some things I used to say where it's like, um, truthfully, you never know how it's going to come to you. And it's just how do I say it? It's a big shift in consciousness. And um it's like, honestly, I only will know what I need to know when I need to know it. And so, like, when you choose to become a wealthier version of yourself, and you start to say, okay, I want $50,000 a month. Okay. So now you're gonna start getting thoughts about how to become that version of yourself. And if you don't take action on those thoughts, then it will never happen, right? Um, so, we have this period of time where, we think that we're not gonna achieve this because we don't know how to get there. But the truth is, you'll know when you need to know it. And that means things will come in and you'll just be like, oh, okay. You'll have like an epiphany and be like, that's what I need to do. Or maybe somebody will come to you in your life and come help you with whatever you were trying to achieve. It's just the fact that you never know how God is going to supply the thing to you. Okay. So as long as you are embodying the person that gets that thing, it naturally comes to you in some way, shape, or form. Um, Now, that doesn't mean there's no work to put in. That doesn't mean that there's no actions to take. Sometimes there isn't, right? Sometimes it just happens and something comes in. But a lot of the time, you're going to have to take an action. Usually that's an inspired action, like, oh, I just feel like I should have done this today. Or I just felt like cleaning the house today. There's reasons behind you doing something, okay? There's a reason why maybe one day you feel completely unmotivated and the next day you're just ready to go, I don't know, go on a hike or clean the house, or you want to go to this certain coffee shop or this certain diner or whatever, right? There's a reason behind your actions, and it's guided by your subconscious, right? So, everything in the subconscious is your basically your unconscious mind, the stuff that you are unaware of. Um, and we fix this by constantly flooding the conscious mind and then adapting that to the subconscious mind, right? Which is the mind and the brain and the heart. Okay. Um, so we have to learn how to maneuver through this part of the journey where it's like you're not always going to know exactly what you need to do in every moment, right? And this is a part of just living life where people will just be like, oh, just let go and let God, right? You just need to live your life, and it's true in some senses, right? But um, letting go and letting God means surrender. That means that you finally accepted that it's yours, right? You know it's yours. You've completely dropped into that identity that I'm the person who gets this. I'm the person who attracts these things, right? And so they naturally come to you because you're being that person, right? Um, so it's like your brain wants to have everything set up and figured out and planned out, which nothing wrong with having a plan or trying to plan something out, but I feel like the more you plan something, the more that it gets disrupted in some way, right? um because the universe likes to surprise us with things, and it's like or God, however you perceive the operant power of the universe here. But it's like sometimes we're not open to letting it surprise us, and that's where we fall short, is because we expect everything to come this certain way that we have in our mind of, oh, and I want this thing to come this way, and I'll just do this to do that and get this and get that. So the more that we actually let go and detach from the outcomes, the easier it is for things to come in, because you're finally matching the frequency of, oh, I already have it, right? It's not I'm wanting it anymore. Now I know that I have it. It's just maybe not, it might not be physically in your in your hands, or in your parking lot or whatever, but it's within your subconscious mind, therefore it has to manifest. Okay? That's how this all works. Whatever is embedded in the subconscious mind will always manifest. Um and so that's your deeper being, right? That is the deeper being. But your power is in the awareness of what you're focusing on. So if you're constantly focusing on thoughts of lack, or you know whatever, that you get more of that, right? And that's not to say that every negative thought you have is going to manifest, or that you can't have doubts and worry sometimes, because you're going to. It is natural. You are still a human being at some rate, right? Or at least experiencing what it's like to be one. So you're still going to have these things come in, and it's not ruining your manifestation, guys. A lot of people will tell you that you have to think positive 24/7, and that's the way you get everything, which it's not wrong. But the thing is, if you try to force your mind to think positive all the time, it's going to eventually think negative, because you're focusing on not thinking negatively. You see what I'm saying? um so that's where the lines get blurred between things, and um it just goes to show that, again, nobody actually knows what the fuck they're talking about. Let's be real. um you can have a certain level of awareness, and like, I'll be the first to tell you, the only thing I know is that I don't know, right? I learn every day. So what I tell you might be what you need to hear that day, but for somebody else, they may have already known, right? um it's just a matter of perception most of the time, right? But it's just the fact that nobody really has a definite answer on what they're going towards, really. Like, they have the end goal, right? But they don't know how they're going to get there. They just do it. It just happens naturally. And that's what we should really get into that state of being that, hey, like I'm already being the person. So I'll just keep following my intuition. I'll keep following what I've imagined and I'll get there. So I do one-on-ones, guys, for anybody that is struggling with this and needs some assistance. I'd be willing to help you out. So just send me a DM. I have my email in the description. All you need to do is send me like a short description of what's going on and your name, and we'll get it set up. Okay. Um, and I would love if you guys would like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. I hope this helped you in some way. Peace.